Hello and welcome to another drive-in double feature. I'm Ryan,
I'm Nathan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. Before we get anything we have a Patreon over at patreon.com/drive-in double feature podcast. Nathan, I'm going to be going to England soon,
hmm
and
hmm
when I was buying my airplane ticket, the lady there was telling me the ticket was like, "Oh, make sure you watch out for Gorgo," and I'm like, "Oh, my didn't expect that." And she's like, "Yeah, you got to be watching out because I heard Ryan and Nathan are going to be talking about it on their podcast. And did you know that they have a Patreon over at patreon.com/driving double feature podcast? It's just got some fun games, some conversations, just a good old swell time over there at the Patreon where we were just having a blast."
hmm
And I said, "Oh no, I didn't realize that." And she's like, "I hope Nathan and Ryan realize how much we appreciate them." And I said, "I think they know, Govna."
Oh, nice. Yeah. Throw another shrimp on the Barbie, right? Over to
Yep,
England. Yeah,
that's
perfect.
right. But yeah, that doesn't get locked behind any major content. But today we're going to be talking about 1961 Gorgo, and that is directed by Eugene Laurie.
Classic director. Also, my voice broke. Good God.
Um, so I kind of wanted to just do like, because I know there's been some like European monster movies, and I've wanted to watch them
Mhm.
for a while. And it was between this and another one, which we may do soon. I'm not sure, but anyway, um, I just saw that there was a European one called Gorgo, and it looked somewhat interesting. So I thought, hey, like, why don't we just give this one a shot and see what happens? Because we haven't really done any of the across the pond monster movies yet.
hmm Well, I didn't
Have
even
you?
know they existed. So
You did not?
no, I didn't. I don't know. I didn't. I mean, like, of course I knew like there had to be European monster movies, but I didn't even think of, I'd never heard of Gorgo. Didn't know there was an English one with a British accent or anything. So I think that's kind of cool. I guess I knew of the
Yeah.
Loch Ness monster.
Oh,
Uh,
you did?
yeah, I know of that monster of Nessie.
Well, no, Nessie's not in this one, but
No.
in this one, it's about these fishermen that go off the coast of England, and they're kind of diving beneath underwater, and eventually they come across this like little sea town, and like where it's like this whole village is operating off of this town, and there's like this legend of this monster, and that they've kind of deemed Gorgo,
hmm
and
Perfect.
and they're just like, you know what, like we gotta. They're waiting to see if they could see the Gorgo show up, and because they're
Yeah.
like, and there's this one little boy that's like that knows a great deal about him, which I I was kind of confused a little bit about like what the deal with this kid was, because like when they meet him for the first time, he's like, "Oh, I don't have a dad."
Yeah,
Like
he's like an orphan, right? That's like how he's introduced.
he's an orphan, and he's like, I guess, living with the harbor master, or like at least knows them. And because like
Yeah.
even the harbor master is like, "Hey, don't be messing with stuff you're not familiar with," type of thing.
hmm
And anyway, fast forward, like the boy is like still with like the fishermen, like even though they've
Yeah.
gone into like to actual like proper, like London and everything.
hmm Yeah, he's like their daddy now. They don't explain that, right? Like at all. He just sticks with the group.
He's living with the fishermen now. Like they just stole this orphan.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, we want a kid, so I guess we'll take him." Yeah, I thought that was weird too, but I mean, I don't know. I guess they needed to keep a kid for the action. I mean, he's probably the one with the most character. Because let me tell you, the two leads here, the two fishermen. If you're looking for a character to latch on to, you ain't getting it. I thought these two were so
What,
boring.
you didn't like Joe Ryan?
Joe Ryan and Sam Slade, kind of like Slade from Teen Titans. I don't know. I don't know what I was trying there.
I don't know what you're doing either.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, no, these two, I just thought they were just a little boring because this movie's King Kong. I thought it would be a Godzilla knockoff, but it's more King Kong than anything. And I feel like that movie works because you follow those characters, you get to know those characters. And I mean, you get to know these characters, but they don't really have anything too interesting to latch on to.
No, I mean, basically it's just like they want to make a quick buck.
Hmm.
So Gorgo shows up, and when Gorgo showed up and was like standing next to some of the buildings, I was like, that's really small. Like I thought it would be like a lot bigger. Like
Uh-huh.
like Gorgo is probably like the size of the house, or like if not a little taller.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
He's
not
like,
that he's not huge.
yeah, which I kind of liked that. And I mean, it makes more sense later on in the movie, but I kind of liked that it was just kind of like a big creature, but not like a Godzilla levels of city destroying. Like when he's in the water, because that's where he comes out at, he is destroying boats and stuff. Um, this is a little off topic from this, but the colors in this movie are really interesting. This is a Technicolor movie, but I noticed they were really drab almost. They weren't as like bright as you would expect. I thought that was interesting.
Now I was because I saw there was multiple versions of this. There like if you go on Tubi, like there's multiple versions of this
One
one
of
on there.
those. Okay.
And I didn't know, like I think I don't know, like was this originally like full like was it released in Technicolor? Okay, I guess it was.
Yeah, because in the credits it said filmed in Technicolor.
Okay, because I thought like maybe there was like a black and white version or something.
I thought it was colorized at first because the color, like Technicolor movies have a look, but I thought this was a little uglier than you'd expect. And it looked like a colorized movie, but no, it's a color movie.
No, so okay, but yeah, no, the colors are very mute and that they don't look very vibrant. Like even like Gorgo, who's like in a big giant green
Hmm.
costume, it's like he still doesn't look very. It's a very dark green.
Yeah, yeah. How did you feel about Gorgo?
Fine, I mean it
Yeah,
just
he's a monster.
he looks like a monster, but his design is pretty. It's pretty much just like Godzilla, but
Hmm.
with fins like on his like or like on his like head.
Exactly. Yeah, they're obviously going for a Godzilla thing with him, and it's definitely not. He's not as interesting as Godzilla, of course.
No. And anyway, they're like wanting to get rich off of Gorgo, so they're able to do like you said, do like the King Kong bit. They're able to lure Gorgo onto their ship, knock him out, and they take him all the way back to London. And you even see Gorgo like riding on the bed of a truck, like through like London, like
Mhm.
like all like the major metropolitan area.
Yeah, if there's one thing that I love about this movie, I love that scene of him like in like the London Square and he's like tied to the back of a truck and it has like the report and he's like, if I saw Gorgo in real life, I might just roll over and die, just just talking. I thought that was kind of funny, this big fake Gorgo in the middle of London.
Yeah, I like that bit. And I mean, like I thought like maybe like they just put like the costume like on the bed of the truck, but no,
Mhm.
like it actually is like it's blinking and all that too. So
Yeah.
it's definitely like somebody's operating it.
Yeah.
So
So I think that's a fun little bit of this movie. I don't know why
yeah.
they went. I mean, I guess it's not a bad angle. It does at least make it more interesting. But I do think it's interesting that it's like a circus. Like that's what they decide to do. We're going to show them off at a circus.
Yeah. And they push him in there, which with like these flamethrowers and just like because Gorgo does not like fire. And
Hmm.
they're push him into like to his pen or whatever. And the pen they give him is so like pathetic. Like it's
Yeah.
just like it's like a giant like a giant empty swimming pool with like a very thin layer of water at the bottom. I'm like, what the hell? Like
Yeah.
and then there's spikes everywhere like on the wall and it's an electric fence.
Yeah. It's this movie is a really bad portrayal of like the English government, like, right, or the way they would treat animals, the whole movie, because the it's pretty much they're torturing this poor defenseless creature, and even the kid is like that. Like that's like one of the first things the kid does is like he needs to go back home. And then like later he like attempts to like let him out. And yeah, and even he's like, hey, we need to bring him back home, but no, everyone in England is like, no, 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 keep him here, keep him in the circus. He's ours. I really think they think he's ours now.
Well, that's what it feels like because they're like at one, I'm like, okay, whatever happens to London, they totally deserve this.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and it's like because it's not making me root for the humans at all. It's like I really want this monster to just like go crazy on.
Hmm.
Um, and what ends up happening is that the researchers they find out it's like we didn't take an adult Gorgo, we took a baby Gorgo. Like this is basically like an infant.
That's why he's so small.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And eventually Mama Gorgo or whatever
Hmm.
shows up
Gorgarina.
and Gorga.
Gorga. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just like stomping away and she's much bigger. She can take out ships, she can take out houses, no problem. Um, when she shows up, like they get like the whole like British army or whatever against her
Yeah.
type of thing. And like I'm like, just give her the baby. Like
It is so like
uh,
they are so stupid in this movie because obviously it's the mom and she's coming for the baby and they just refuse. They absolutely refuse. And this and the mom Gorgo is killing hundreds of people, destroying famous landmarks, and they're just like, no, keep the baby at the circus.
so there's this one scene where she picks up like I think it's a truck or a boat or something,
Mhm.
and she shakes it, and like you see like the men like fall, like they're just like
I love that.
superimposed, and it's like the frame like ah like it's like a little
Yeah.
picture of them.
I know it looks bad, but it's kind of fun. The special effects in this movie for like such an old movie, it's actually really fun to watch. Like that one scene with the ship and it's like rocking and like it would cut from like a green screen then to like just a bunch of water going over the ship, or all the landmarks she destroys. She goes and destroys London Bridge and they shoot missiles at her and it just absolutely does nothing. I'm guessing maybe it would hurt a little more in 60s if you're watching this, premiere in London and you're seeing like Big Ben get destroyed, do you think people were like crying? They're like, I can't believe it. I can't believe they did it.
No,
No,
probably not. I
no,
don't think so.
I'm just
They're
kidding
like,
anyway.
or maybe I don't know, maybe somebody who like watched like during England, like during wartime, like no, not again.
That's just like, well, because don't they say that in this movie? They're like, get to the underground, everybody, hide in the underground. Like it's World War II. I'm getting flashbacks.
Um, but yeah, this one, this movie does have like this movie does have like a cult following to
Mhm.
it, where like people are like talking about like apparently Gene huge fan of this movie. This movie was originally supposed to be like a Japanese one. And do you know, like at one point, this movie was considered for an Oscar for best special effects?
Really? See, if there was one thing to give this movie, I think that one would be fine to nominate it for.
Yeah.
No,
So
I was reading that people do like this movie. Like the reception section of the Wikipedia just has like a long list of like things, and there's like a it's been referenced a whole bunch by like people. And it's funny because I had never heard of this. It's in Flubber. Did you know that?
I did. Uh,
Yeah.
so I do think like the movie does have its fans. Eventually the mother does get the baby back and they go back into the ocean and everything's fine, even though all these people are dead.
It's too happy of an ending. I because like the little boy's like, finally he gets to go home, and they don't destroy anything, and they just go back into the water. And like all I'm thinking is like thousands of people are dead. There's fires, everything's destroyed, and it's ending on like this, like, oh well, Gorgo's got the baby, we're heading home. It's just a
Yeah.
little odd.
I thought it was I don't know. Like I didn't think it was a terrible movie.
Oh, this one?
Um that's putting you to sleep, I know. And
Yeah.
I didn't think it was awful. It's not very good. It's not the most exciting kaiju movie because it's very much just like a rehash of a certain plot, and like the humans in this are just dreadful. Just like, who cares about them at
Yeah.
all, other than like the little boy is like probably the most interesting character. And again, like, you don't know what happens to him. He's just like, okay, I guess he just lives with this Joe Ryan guy now. Like, that's
No,
his
they kick
dad, I
they
guess.
they kicked him out. He's an orphan in London now, which that's kind of cool. You can be like Oliver, you know.
Oh yeah, he'll be just in time for that because the Oliver, he can be in that Best Picture nominated movie.
He could. You know what? I think I'd rather be homeless in London. No, I wouldn't actually. Rather than homeless on an island, one of the weird islands.
No, I
Um,
think I'd rather be homeless in a major city, but
you think so? You think so? The dirty city? I guess then you
I
could
think so.
beg a little. But yeah, no, I really didn't like this movie. It did not connect to me at all. I thought it was just pretty boring overall. I will commend it. I do think the special effects are pretty good. I don't think it's not a technically awful movie. Like I like something else we're going to cover a little bit later, but I do think I just it's just not very entertaining. I just didn't really have a lot of fun with it. No characters to follow. Um, yeah, just I don't know. I couldn't get into this one. I thought Gorgo, and hopefully we're not going through the Gorgo franchise.
Oh, oof,
Oh no!
oof.
Oh god, we're reading the comic books next week.
We have to do books,
Yeah.
but no, yeah, it obviously have its fans. Like maybe if I was younger or whatever, it didn't take much to entertain me. I probably would have. This movie probably would have had a bigger impact. But because I'm
No.
watching it
Yeah.
so later in my life, I don't really care much for it. There's much better kaiju movies that have much better action. So I would just say, like, go check out one of the ones we've covered in the past, and you'll probably have a better time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think this is one you really have to hunt down.
No. But I think that's going to do it for Gorgo. Nathan, what are we going to be talking about next week?
All right. Well, Ryan, we are going to be talking about Sound of Thunder from 2005. And that one's going to be streaming over on Tubi. But Ryan, let us know what we are covering on Thursday.
Well, Nathan, we're going to be talking about the movie Intruder, which is on Tubi right now from 1989.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to watch that one with you.
But if you have any thoughts and opinions about the podcast, please email us over at driveandoublefeaturepodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/driveandoublefeaturepodcast. And once again, check out the YouTube channel, Drive and Double Feature Podcast. But until next time.
Until next time.